Planning to travel from the railways from 26th of December will be costlier. It is being done in order to rationalize the fares. However, there are certain drawbacks to it. We are going to discuss what are the recent recommendations of the Parliamentary Committee, Standing Committee on Railways, which has made railways to think the rationalization of fares. And are you going to be impacted or not? Of course, we all are a consumer of the railways. We are going to use it very frequently in the upcoming years. And because India has the fourth largest network of railways in the world, there are many who are going to be impacted. However, we are going to discuss in brief what is going to be the impact, and we are going to talk about the railway sector as well. So the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Railways gave certain core recommendations about how to rationalize the fares. The first important thing we have to keep in mind over here are to balance those who are affected and those who are not affected. What do I mean by that? This is being done in order to reduce inequality and increase revenue. This is the plan. This is what the plan is. Reduce inequality means there are certain people who travel in non-AC coaches and those who travel in AC coaches. Now the railways is saying that we are going to rationalize the fare on the basis of the service that we give, which not only includes the traveling but also all the amenities that are given in when you are traveling. The food, sometimes you get food which is included in the fare, the comforters, the pillows, the cost of washing them, the cost of maintaining them, these all are service charges. So what the railways is saying that we have to ensure that the fare that we charge is in proportion to the service that we give you. And this revenue that will be generated through this will be benefiting the non-AC travelers. So this is in order to reduce the inequality. Secondly, because revenue has to be generated, railways is modernizing itself. First, we have to know that it is modernizing. It is ensuring that it is in line with the Paris Agreement when it comes to electrification of railways by the year 2030, and to ensure that railways become a net zero emitter. All these are being done in order to increase revenue so that these things can be taken care of. So this is what I had to tell you in brief. And right now, what the effective date is starting from 26th of December onwards. Before that also, from June, July onwards, we saw a hike after 5 years. So what is the current situation? Let's talk about that. So for suburban and monthly season tickets, fare increase are almost negligible, no fare increase. For ordinary classes who are traveling up to 215 kilometers, no increase in fare. Ordinary classes which are traveling above 215 kilometers, there is an increase of 1 paisa per kilometer. 1 paisa, not rupees, 1 paisa per kilometer. For Mail Express non-AC coaches, there is an increase of 2 paisa per kilometer. For AC classes, these classes are the better off classes who can actually give the amount. So there is an increase of 2 paisa per kilometer. Estimated additional revenue for this would be 600 crore rupees in the current year. That means 600 crore ka fayda hoga, 600 crores of benefit through this hike. And it is in line with what the railways wants to do. So the core recommendations include railways should review and rationalize fares of AC classes by alignment of them with the actual cost of the services. Increasing passenger segment earning is crucial to improve the net revenues of the railways. First that. Railway bears social service obligations as well, which wants to provide affordable transport facilities to the less class persons. And general class travelers must remain affordable and protected from any sort of hikes. This was told by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Railways. Now, one thing is that we have to balance equity with viability. Equity means in order to ensure that all are equal, those who can pay should pay, those who cannot pay should be getting affordable services. And viability means in order to ensure a sustained revenue growth, hike should be sustainable. It should not be something like a whoop and then no proper revenue generation takes place for a long period of time. Not that. Protection of mass mobility has to be taken care of along with affordability. Cost-based pricing for AC classes which cater to relatively the better off people. Now, I have already given you that. However, the extent of passenger service subsidy as per the committee report was suburban services recover only by 30% of its cost. That means whatever the services are given, only 30% of the cost is actually available as recoverable to the Indian Railways. Non-AC travel 39%, and AC travel only generates a surplus of 3.5%. That means the service which is being given to the AC class travelers, they are not giving enough revenue, so the margin is pretty less. The overall observations go that despite higher fares, AC classes are not significantly cross-subsidizing the other passenger segment. That means whatever earnings are being generated from the AC travelers, they are not being able to allocate it to those who want better facilities, the non-AC travelers, so that we can provide equity. Without fair rationalization, passenger services losses will continue to strain the railways finances. That is why this hike had to take place. So this was important for us to know. However, let's talk about the Indian Railways, because Indian Railways is one of the most prominent networks in the world. India is the 4th largest network, has a network of railways around the world. Indian Railways. So India has the 4th largest network of railway after USA, China and Russia. Now, talking about that is also important because apart from that, it serves approximately 23 million passengers every day. So this is also important for us. Serves 23 million passengers every day. Something we should be taking not for granted. 23 million passengers is a lot. Now, freight movement is approximately 906.9 million. That is also too much. Freight, 906.9 million. And this is what I'm talking about on a annual basis, really. Beg your pardon. For fiscal year 2025, not every annual basis, but fiscal year 2025 only. Keep this in mind. All this is important for your mains examination as well. Apart from that, if we talk about the electrification, 97% of broad gauge routes are already electrified, which supports the sustainability goal. We have to increase the freight share target of it from the 35% to 45% by the year 2030, which is in alliance with the Paris Agreement. Consequential accidents have also come down by 80% between 2016 to 2021. 95% plus accidents happen due to driver error. That is why we are going to have the Kavach system. Kavach system is the anti-collision system. However, it is not deployed everywhere. It is still in the process. Now, talking about the key challenges, first challenge is that it is overstretched. The infrastructure doesn't work in proportion to what is actually needed. Several routes are operating at 150% more capacity, which is causing congestion and delays. Safety concerns are also happening, such as poor infrastructure, outdated technology. Now, because this infrastructure is overstretched, we need more time to ensure that we maintain it. We do not have that window of time. There is also derailment, collision, fire, and loss of life and property. Financial constraints are also there. That is why we are trying to raise revenues. Populist fare policies mean that the government is trying to engage the population by telling them that we are not going to charge you as much. So that is populist. Impacts infrastructure expansion and maintenance. That is why revenue has to be hiked. Political organizational bottlenecks are also there. Excessive centralization and political interference is actually delaying the projects. Human resource and service quality is also shortage of skilled staff, inadequate training, long working hours, all are a problem. Apart from that, there are certain initiatives that the government has taken so that more better railways can be provided. There is dynamic fare pricing which has recently been introduced. We have to ensure that the service costs are actually available. Rail budget merged with the union budget, Rail Infrastructure Development Fund to infrastructure financing, and Rail Drishti portal for transparency. So these are the important things. Apart from that, organizational reforms have also taken place. There is a merger of 8 groups A services in the IRMS system, railway broad restructuring and digitization of HR and administrative function. Infrastructure and development, for that we have the National Rail Plan 2030, which wants that infrastructure should be planned in a way that it can get the load of 2050 as well. Vande Bharat trains, which are indigenously manufactured semi-high speed trains, are providing more connectivity. There are freight corridors as well. That means only freighted trains will travel here. Western DFC, Eastern DFC, which is supported by World Bank and Japan. Now, moving on to our question, let's look at this question.